Yo, apprentices, acolytes, coming into the Dark Temple, visited by Mara Jade, Luke Skywalker, Kyle Katarn, and so many other Force sensitives like yourself. I'm Lord Dagovere, fam, and it's so good to see you. Let's go. Let's go. I still don't know how to go around and move over my transitions into what camera I want because, man, dude, I am just not good at streaming. How y'all doing today? It's so good to see you guys. Yo, Pat Jackson in the chat. Hello there, fam. How y'all doing today? I know it's only Tuesday, so... yeah, man. I know. We're almost there. It's gonna be Wednesday, so that means that you're halfway through the week, and that's huge. Let's go. Let's go. How y'all doing today? Huh? How y'all doing today? I love you guys, man. I'm so glad that we're here today, man. I've been so excited about the podcast. Podcast had over 100 views on YouTube, which is insane for me. That's actually pretty crazy, honestly. What like when you legitimately like think about it and how many people that there's someone that said like, hey, you know, if you have like 10 or 15 people, like if say like you upload a video and you have 15 views, then you have like, imagine those 15 people in a room with you. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people, bro. That's like a Christmas get together or something, or you know, some type of family reunion. That's like crazy. That's a lot of people, bro. You know, 30 views, it's like a classroom. You know, so you're a teacher now. But 100? Bro, it's a lecture now. We're a professor. Professor Dagovere. Welcome to the College of Star Wars. I will be teaching you all the lore that I know, and we will continue to learn together. Hello, good long week already? Yeah, I know, man. It's going in there. It's going crazy. It's crazy that's only February. I feel like so much has happened with work and everything else that's been going on, man. But it's insane. I really just want to get to 10k subs. Oh, man, I just want it. And then after 10k, I want something else. And after one, because, you know, that's how it is. But yeah, it's been really fun. I'm really excited. But today I wanted to talk to you guys about the Sith'Ari. We had the podcast. I don't know if you guys had listened to the podcast the last couple weeks, but this last one was about the Sith and the rule of two. Because I just have a lot of opinions on the rule of two in general, and I felt like the rule of two itself always seems to me like a lot of people really violated the rule of two, the rules of the rule of two. I also feel like a lot of times when you think about the rule of two, how potentially dangerous it could be to the Sith. And that's one thing that Darth Bane always talks about, well, that he mentions and thinks about in the Bane Path of Destruction book, which is such a damn good book, man. That book is so good. Man. That entire trilogy is amazing. It's kind of crazy how good a lot of the expanded universe stuff is, and it's just off of a single thought or a vision that George Lucas had. And I think that's probably what's always like so good about the expanded universe of Star Wars, is that you can take like this one idea that George Lucas had, and now an entire trilogy is based off of it. You know? It's not to say like the old Republic would never exist, but when George Lucas talks about like the original Sith Empire and what he thinks would be the Sith Empire, you know, the Sith had it and were in control of it for like 150 years. And this is something that he says. These is coming out of his words from the Star Wars archive book for the prequel trilogy, which is 1999 through 2005. Right here. Pretty good. And right, that little pink slip there. And it's really interesting what he talks about. And he always talks about some amazing stuff in this, man. And there's so much good stuff. And this one also talks about the Chosen One and the sequel trilogy stuff that he was going to make. But there's so much good stuff in this one too, especially about his view of the Sith Empire. And I think it's really interesting because when you think about Star Wars Expanded Universe, it spans over thousands of years of amazing stuff, right? I feel like I just need like a timeline back here. Like right here, I feel like I just need like a Star Wars timeline. So I could just point, you know, it's like, and here was like thousands of years of stuff. And that's how I feel like Star Wars Expanded Universe has thousands of stuff, right? So let's say the first timeline I always tell you about is like 100,000 years before the Battle of Yavin, and that's always when the Sith species dawned on Korriban, the planet of Korriban. That's like always like the first thing that they talk about in a lot of the timelines in Star Wars, and that's 100,000 years. The next thing after that is like the Rakatan invasion and the Infinite Empire. Then what's after that is the battle with King Adas on Korriban, which is like 28 or 30,000 years before the Battle of Yavin. And then finally it's the defeat of the Infinite Empire, and then the Rakatan invasion is basically stopped and repelled, and then it's the dawn of the Jedi, and it is the creation of the Republic. Yo, Skywalker Academy fam, it's so good to see you. Thanks for coming in, fam. Let's freaking go. Yes, let's go. How you doing, man? Ready up. Let's go. Seems like it might be a quiet night tonight, so it's just gonna be us, which is crazy because we have like 14 plus people, and it's so funny. I always do the posts on the social tab for the YouTube channel, and I get like hundreds of likes on the stuff, and I'm just like, hey, hey guys, come on, let's go to the stream this Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, and there's like 100 plus people that are like, yeah, I'm not gonna make it, but I'll be there, so it's maybe like 20 or 30 people that say they're gonna show up, but then like the 70 or 80 people say no, they're not gonna show up, so I'm just like, oh man, dude, if I have like 1% of these people show up to the stream, it's gonna be like 30 people here in the stream. So I always get like really excited when I see the polls, man. It's always really fun. Hello there, says learning about the Sith Empire is awesome. It probably fascinates me the most. It's really fun. Like, it's so interesting. Now that's what I want to talk about too, is like George Lucas talks about his Sith Empire, his vision of the Sith Empire, and he just says like, oh yeah, the Sith basically had control of the galaxy for 100 to 150 years. And that's really crazy because that's not too long, really, when you think about it. Where's the Star Wars Archives book? Let me get it. It's on page 415. I'm gonna read it to you guys. Story time with Lord Dagovere. All right, here it is. I just saw it. The Rule of Two. I literally just went away. I have to put another notion on here so I can make sure. Okay. So this is George Lucas's interview with Paul Duncan. Paul Duncan is the one that archives just about everything in the Star Wars Archives book. I recommend this book if you guys want it. You can find it on Amazon. They are quite expensive. The large coffee table ones are about $100 to $150 for each, by the way, and I think there's two. So it's for the prequel trilogy and, of course, the original trilogy. These are much more affordable. These are about $35. This still has the same amount of knowledge. It's just not as large as the other ones and nice and fancy. So I wanted to get this one to make sure I can get the knowledge, and then I'll probably get the other ones at a later date. So what George Lucas says is, the Rule of Two. There was never a war between the Jedi and the Sith Lords. The Sith Lords were in control for a long time. And what happens when you have a world full of Sith Lords? They start killing each other to see who's going to be the top Sith Lord. They don't vote, they just kill. It's like a medieval feudal system. There may have been thousands or millions of them, and eventually, after 100 or 150 years, they killed everyone except for two. And the more powerful of the two decided, you're my apprentice, I'm your master, I will pass on my knowledge to you to keep the dark side of the Force alive, but we will keep a close eye on the apprentice. And I think that's so crazy because when you always look at like Star Wars lore in general, it's literally like thousands of years, right? Thousands of years. And George in his head says, oh no, it's only about 150 years. And I felt like that's always going to be the problem with thinking about Star Wars Expanded Universe and going off of what George says, because he has a very different view of like what our view is of the beginning of the timeline, especially with like the Sith, the Sith race, the Sith people, Korriban, when hyperspace, things like that. There's going to be a huge difference, especially with the Tales of the Jedi comics that do a pretty good job at showing you like how the universe was shaped. But then like the lightsabers aren't even lightsabers in some of those comics. They're proto-sabers. They have literal power cells that they operate off in cords. It's really really weird, you know. But there's some charm in it. It's just, you know, completely different from what we've seen. But yeah, it always perplexes. It's always so interesting. The more I ponder about it, like, what would his version of that be? What would it look like? You know, it's crazy. I love it though.
I have spoken.
Okay, so Pat Jackson says, when in hyperspace travel, the Star Wars galaxy nodes, it's really take off because if the travel time was slower, 150 years is even less time. Yes, exactly. And that's what I'm talking about, is like, when you look at Star Wars, even through the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy, technology, like, is it's stagnant. You know, it doesn't really improve at all. And that's what I've always thought, like, Star Wars has done really well. Is like, even when you look at how technology is in you know, some of the earliest comics, which is like Tales of the Jedi comics, you know, those were out in like 1994, 1995, 1996, 1997, 1998, around that era. And then that's when George Lucas was beginning his production with the prequel trilogy. And so you see the official Star Wars comics start to make a run, you know, with like Plo Koon and Tivoca and Qui-Gon Jinn and stuff like that, just like the original run of that era of Star Wars. So you can see like how the technology is kind of keeping up with the prequels and how it's going to look in the original trilogy, but it's still pretty old, you know. In Tales of the Jedi, there's just a lot of crazy stuff. One of the most incredible things with hyperspace, I feel like, is they can't communicate very well from long distances. And there's even like buoys out there in space, in deep space, where they like, okay, someone eventually had went this far and we need to put this buoy here in the Tales of the Jedi comics. It's actually shown like once in one of the pages, and I think I have it somewhere. I'm gonna have to check the comic book pages that I have. Maybe I'll see if I can find it right now. But one of the things is like just a little buoy for communication, because one of the earliest Star Wars stories from that Tales of the Jedi comics is Jesus, what are they called? It's the people that run in Naga Sadao. I can't remember. It's the Jory and oh my god, Daragon. I think it's. Damn it, bro! I'm such a fool. I just read these comics so much, and I always just so bad with names. Literally, when I'm streaming, I think it's Jory Daragon and Dav Daragon. I think that's what it is. Yes. Okay. Yeah. And so they're literally like hyperspace explorers, and it's literally the most dangerous job because no one freaking knows if these hyperspace routes are safe. So they're literally just like hitting in these coordinates, punch it, Chewie, and then they blow up. They could run into like nebulas, pulsars, black holes, you know, asteroids, anything. Like, it's that dangerous. And so when they end up fulfilling this entire travel and they get to the next destination, probably into a whole other freaking part of space that no one's ever been to, they put down these buoys that says like, okay, you know, when you get to this is basically like the point of no return. This is as far as we explored. If you go past this buoy, we don't know what's out there. And so a lot of the stuff, a lot of Star Wars is separated by that, and that goes into part with all the Star Wars like Korriban and Dark Jedi and Exile stuff too, because they literally didn't have hyperspace routes. They were literally just flying into nothingness. Really crazy. And then they ended up just finding Korriban because Korriban's dark side of the Force was so powerful, it was literally calling them. So they just ended up finding it that way. But in the comics, it's like, so far no one's ever been there before, and only because of the random jump that they were able to find that planet. I really like how Star Wars is separated in that era of time, because it's so fun. It's also really dangerous. Like, I don't really think a lot of people understand like how incredible of a feat that was for them to find Korriban, and then from Korriban, from that hyperspace jump. Hyperspace is so dangerous in those eras, man. I think that would make such a beautiful story. And like the High Republic kind of does it, you know, but it doesn't do it enough. It's still so, it's early in the timeline, but it's nowhere near as like, you know, this is taking place 7,000 years before the Battle of Yavin. And I think that's why it doesn't really need to do that as much as the Tales of the Jedi comics, which are much earlier in that era. Yeah, Skywalker Enemy says, it's always interesting to see how George views things in the Rule of Two, especially compared to be lore we all know. Yes, so that's what I love. It's like that little idea that he has literally creates Darth Bane, and then of course that beautiful, amazing book, one of the greatest books of all time. And if you haven't read it yet, you're missing out. Straight up, fam, you're missing out. Pat Jackson says, I heard a good way to describe Star Wars tech is that it would be that would be what would happen if we stayed analog instead of going digital. Interesting. I think there's a couple of shows like that too. You know what's actually really interesting is what I've seen. What's that new show that's on Apple? Just Severance. I think that's what it's called. I'm watching it, but it kind of reminds me of that, where like the technology is old but new. If that makes any sense, that's what it reminds me of. That's how modern day Star Wars technology I feel like would be. Yo, Trent, so good to see you, fam. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Ready up, my guy. How you doing? So good to see you. Yeah, man, that's how I feel like. Skywalker Academy says that would make a cool show. Early days of hyperspace travel. Yes, sign me up. Sign me up. Literally create Jory and Dav Daragon in Star Wars. And I think it's a great story. It's so funny too because there's so many like people online that legitimately talk about like how much that they love the Old Republic and all these other stories, and they don't even know like they don't even know the characters that are in those stories too. I had someone, I was talking about some of the greatest Jedi of all time, and people were like clearly like self-reporting and outing themselves, talking about how they were hardcore fans, but then they didn't know who Nomi Sunrider was, and they didn't know who Odan was, you know? And it's not a bad thing if you don't know this. It's just saying yourself, like, you know, you're a lore master or whatever, and you know so much about Star Wars, and then you try to correct other people in the comment sections of videos, but then you don't even know who, literally, like, some of the most main characters of these comics that we're talking about are from. You know, like the whole story surrounds these characters. Man, it's also crazy too because a lot of them had like Darth Revan's profile picture, and I was like, what are we doing? Like Darth Revan's story literally comes from these comics. Like, what are we? Why are we? How do we not know? You know, like, do we only like this person's lore of Star Wars? You know, which is fine. That's okay. But I'll never understand why so many people in those comments, like, they just aren't so very self-aware about the things that they don't know about Star Wars. It's really crazy, man. It's kind of crazy how susceptible I am to those people, like, triggering me online. And then I'll talk about, like, oh, well, actually, in this comic, and this happens, and we're like, oh, is that new canon? I'm just like, no, Nomi Sunrider is not new canon. Come on. It happens a lot. It happens a lot. I think that if you go and look at my videos and on the polls that I do on the tabs, you'll see a lot of those interactions. But I've just tried to stop interacting with people like that in general, just because you can see. YouTube does a really good job now where you click someone's profile and you see how they've interacted with your channel. And there's so many people that I see that like say some of the most toxic things and they're not subscribed, but they have like 13 or 14 comments on the channel itself, and I'm just like, dang, bro, why don't you just subscribe? It's crazy, dude. Hello there says, I'm reading older comics for the fun to learn more. Dude, it's so amazing. Which one are you on right now? Are you reading Tales of the Jedi comics? I think so. All right, here's the thing about Tales of the Jedi comics. Tales of the Jedi comics are so fun. They are so magical. There's a certain sense of like beauty about them. They're old, and sometimes like the dialogue is really bad. You know, the drawings are obviously outdated. How can I say, some of the plot is like, okay, well, this happens for this, you know, all right, I get it. You know, it's clearly outdated, but there's still like, when it delivers, man. It is so good. Like even like some of the weakest comics that I've read in that era have literally some of the greatest story, some of the greatest meaning, some of the most fun characters. Man, did I love it so much. And then one of the coolest things is like, I'm in the middle of the Exar Kun conflict again, and because I love reading it. And one of my favorite things that nobody talks about online, nobody talks about. You know, you always hear about Naga Sadao, you know, blew up a sun, you know, made a star go supernova, right? You always hear stuff like that. And then no one's talking about like Frieda Nad and how he's dead. And this dude, even in death, is still influencing people to turn to the dark side on his spirit alone. They're around where he used to die, where his coffin is, and his coffin is literally seen like a curse, and people are literally getting possessed by the dark side because it just has so much dark side affinity to it. And then, of course, when he finally shows that his spirit is still living, because he's a Sith spirit, he's attached to the coffin. It's not a Force ghost. It's completely different. It's just because there's so much negative energy, there's so much dark side on him and where he is, that a Jedi basically has to go in there and cleanse it, and then he's gone forever. And this guy is literally possessing everybody. And then he's teaching people in his death, and then he's trying to persuade Exar Kun to fall to the dark side. Like, dude, I want to make a whole video on just how powerful seduction of the dark side is from someone like Frieda Nad. And Exar Kun is literally the Anakin Skywalker of the Tales of the Jedi comics. It is at least the dark side version. You Look Heldroma, I feel like, has a pretty amazing story, but we'll get to that another day. So that's one thing people don't talk about, is the influence of Frieda Nad. The other thing is, too, is like Exar Kun flies to like Coruscant, okay? And he's in the Senate, and which is a really different looking Senate, but there's dozens of people in there. And he walks in with some of the most powerful Jedi in that era, okay? He walks in and he literally freezes everybody. Like, he's holding them down without giving like an ounce of his power. And he's literally holding everybody that is in this Senate. Hundreds of people just like frozen there. You know how Kylo Ren subdues Rey in The Force Awakens, where she's like frozen? That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing to everybody. He's doing that to everybody in the Senate. And just walking in there and talking. And then he lets them go and he leaves. That is insane. Exar Kun is so powerful. Exar Kun is so... I will say that everybody talks about Vitiate and all these other characters, but there are so many people that have no idea that Exar Kun's power could literally rival some points of Darth Sidious in Return of the Jedi. Maybe even Dark Empire. That's how strong Exar Kun is. Dude, I don't like to curse like this, but it's fucking insane. And you don't know that because all these people that are making these videos don't tell you these things. They just talk about the same stuff that gets views. And that's the whole point of like experiencing the lore for yourself. You start to realize like, oh my God, this is what people talk about online when they talk about how the expanded universe is amazing. It's stuff like that where you're just like, you'll never see that in a movie. Never see that in a show. You know, you won't even see that in a lot of books. But that was insane. And it's just 2 or 3 pages of a comic. When you're reading it, you understand what happens. It's crazy, dude. Oh my God, I literally talk about this shit all day. Hello there, it says, yes, it keeps me up for a while since there's so much to think about and so much cool stuff. Yes, man, all day, every day, bro. Like, literally me, like, when I'm working, I'm just like, dude, man, why can't I just get paid to read Star Wars? Oh my God, it's so good. Skywalker Academy says, I always forget about Frieda Nad doing that. XR is honestly one of the most terrifying Sith, not just for the Force power, but his dueling skills. Dude! There is this... Oh my God, let me see if I have it. Hang on. I have to... Let me check my stuff, because I have like a little archive of stuff for my videos and everything, but I want to make sure that I have exactly what I'm looking for. So, let me see. Sometimes I can find it, sometimes I can't. Tales of the Jedi, Golden Age of the Sith... there's this one pose that Exar Kun does, and he just looks so dramatic. And I think it's so funny, because it reminds me so much of Anakin Skywalker. I just love how Exar Kun is literally dramatic Anakin Skywalker of these comics. Damn, man, I don't think I have it. I wonder if I have it. I don't think I even have it on my phone. Ugh, God dang it, man. Oh man, it's hilarious though. But there's this pose. He's doing like the Star Killer pose. And I always think that it's so funny because when I look at him and what he's doing, by the way, he's supposed to be in like a friendly sparring match with his master, Voodoo. And oh my god, it's hilarious how he just literally like he literally beats up his master, breaks his master's staff, and he's just like he's like emoting on him essentially. You know, like I don't know if anyone plays like video games and stuff. This guy literally just beat his master in a friendly sparring match. It's not that serious, Exar-kun, and he's just so dramatic about it. I'm gonna try to find the picture of him. Man, I can't believe it. I can't believe I didn't save this shit, bro. Usually I save so many assets from my videos just so I can always show, and then I'm trying to do like other social media things too. But man, this stuff is so funny when I show it to you guys because it's before Starkiller. Ooh, here's some good stuff. Yes. Okay, so here's some other stuff that I want to show you guys too. It's before Starkiller, right? Before Galen Merrick is even an idea that's been conceived, right? Oh man, it's probably gonna be all the way up here, bro. Jesus Christ. It's also before. Yeah, no, Starkiller was the first one that really held reverse grip, right? It's really interesting when you think about all these characters, and I swear to God, so whoever had that idea had watched, I can't remember if it's Lone Cub, which is the samurai movie, which actually the guy is a blind samurai, and he's wielding the reverse blade like Starkiller, and that's where Starkiller had gotten it from, the idea from Starkiller, because, you know, you guys know Kurosawa and how influential it is to Star Wars and George Lucas. Man, I cannot find this damn pose of him, man. I want to show you guys. It's so freaking funny. I'm gonna keep looking for it as like that. So he busts out the gritty on him, bro. Dude, it's literally the equivalent. Oh, Pat, I found the damn. Yes, I found this other photo for you because I wanted to show you that too. It's the buoys that they plant. So mind you, this is for like literally like years and years now of doing Star Wars content. So I have assets upon assets of all these photos, and I'm pretty sure this one is from like, you know, last year February because I'm scrolling so far. But it's literally like him just like, you know, I just think it's hilarious how he just pops off and he's just like, yeah, boy, what, master? Ain't got shit, old man. You know, what is that meme with from Malcolm in the Middle? Where he's like, you know, the future is now, old man. What is this? That's how I feel like Exar-kun was literally just like standing over his master and saying that. I thought it was just like the funniest stuff, man. I was laughing, but I also felt like Exar-kun just had insane amounts of aura because it was that funny. But I also couldn't take him seriously because he also reminded me of Anakin Skywalker. You know how Anakin is just so goddamn dramatic, man. And I was just like, dude, I literally feel like Anakin Skywalker was looking up archives of Exar-kun and like reading Tales of the Jedi himself, and then literally thought, yeah, bro, I want to be this guy. This guy is so cool. Yeah, I'm gonna be Exar-kun. So that's literally how I feel. Where is this shit? Oh, I can't find it. Oh, no. Damn, there he is. I can't find it. Really, boy? Really? Maybe I just had it in my phone and my dumbass never put it in the Discord. Boo! Can everybody boo me right now? I just need all caps. B-O-O-O-O-O-O-O. Boo! Get off the stage! I've been betrayed. I have betrayed my friends. Damn, bro! I literally thought. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, guys. But thank you for booing me. I appreciate it. Damn it, man. Come on, bro. Really? Really? No, bro. Yeah, man. I don't think I have it here. All right, whatever. All right, I'm gonna check the internet real quick. See if the internet has it. Let me see. XR Kun reverse grip. Oh, it's on the internet. It's on the internet. We have it. Okay, all right, here we go. So, it's supposed to be like the most friendly duel. and this is one of the reasons why I love XR Kun, because he's so dramatic like this. And this guy literally is fighting his master, and his master's just teaching him. And this buddy breaks his freaking master staff and just says, wielding dual lightsabers. But he's cool as shit, bro. XR Kun is that dude, man. I don't know who made this, like who said like, hey, we're gonna draw this, but I don't think they understand how influential this pose is in Star Wars now. Every, like, Revan, Starkiller, like, dude, this is the I read the expanded universe starter pack. You want that aura? XR Kun is right here, bro. Right foot cream and that's what he's doing, dude. This is crazy, dude. This is what I'm talking about, bro. He literally went to the archives, bro. XR Kun was that dude. XR Kun has so much aura. I might make a podcast. I might literally, I'm so close to making the podcast next week about XR Kun's aura. Like, I so want to make an aura. Who has the most aura in Star Wars? It's probably XR Kun, bro. Like, this shit is crazy, bro. This comic came out in 1996, 97. The sequels weren't even a thing yet. Starkiller wasn't even a thing yet. Revan wasn't even a thing yet. And this dude is holding lightsabers like he started it. You see this? This is what I'm talking about. This is aura, baby. Oh, yeah. Thank you for coming to my stream. I hope you guys please subscribe. And yeah, all right. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. Yo, Bugsy, thank you so much for coming in here. It's so good to see you, fam. Thank you. Appreciate you. Let's go. Ready up. My guy. Oh, wow. Okay, cool. I did not know you were out of time. My bad. He has been Orma farming for multiple decades. That's what I'm talking about, bro. XR Kun started it all. He really did. XR Kun. Oh, man. Gosh, damn it, bro. Is there a way I can read the comics with you guys online? Can I do that? Bugsy, you are in the anime community. If someone was going to read a comic, so Kyle Katarn, not the character, but the content creator, he does comics with Katarn. I want to do that. Or would you guys be up for that? Like reading these comics together. And if that's something that I have to do on like Amazon or something, I will do that. You know, I'll pay for the comic. You guys could experience it. You guys wouldn't have to pay for it. You guys could just be here and chill with it. I would like to do that. I would like to stream that. Kyle does it all the time on his Twitch stream or YouTube stream. So I would like to do that, and I would want to read this stuff. I'd watch. I'm not a comic guy, but I like to get the knowledge. Yeah, because that's the thing, man. Is like, look at this other stuff too. Okay, let me show you. So this is stuff too that's also in there as well. And this is the buoy things that I was telling you about. So when hyperspace was so, man, we were supposed to talk about the Sith'Ari today. I just go trailing. We were supposed to talk about, anyway. So hyperspace, like we were talking about, was so early in the eras, right? So Jory and all these explorers, Dav, Daragon, and everybody, all these hyperspace explorers, when they would get to the end and they didn't die, this is what they would put. They would be like, okay, you're safe now. We can actually travel here. Okay, so ready for more Frida Nad aura farming? So, oh my god. Okay, so here's another thing. All right. So you know how the Darth title is a legitimate thing, okay? Right? Darth, Dark Lord of the Sith. These are titles that are like extremely important to Darths. Let's see, XR Kun Forehead. Yes, the mark of the Dark Lord. Okay, so, and here's another thing. Well, they don't even have it from the comic. See, this is what I'm talking about. So I'm looking for something that's so important to ahch-to, and they don't have it. In fact, they actually don't even. All right, so this is ahch-to. All right, this looks like, I don't know if this is Chris Trevess art, who's an amazing artist, by the way. So. Skywalker says, I love how I'm listening to the stream while writing a section of my fan story that takes place in the Dark Temple. Ooh, let's go, Joman Koss, baby! Yes! That's what I love. Oh my god, bro. I'm gonna have to make a whole podcast or talk about the Dark Temple. Like, that place has literally cured my depression for 1 year. It was crazy. So, yeah, thank you so much, Bugsy. Appreciate it, fam. Appreciate it, yes. Yeah, because I really need to start doing this, and I want to do that. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So, here we go. Here's the thing. So, you see this mark on his forehead. You see this mark on his forehead. This is really important, okay? Now, traditionally, the Sith species used to do this. Not the Sith that you see in the movie, okay? This was so important. And one of the comics, two of the comics, actually. The first one, Golden Age of the Sith. So that takes place with Ludo Kresh and Naga Sadow. Naga Sadow is pretty cool character. Also, a lot of people really hate him because a lot of people blame him for them, like, literally causing the genocide of the Sith species, the extinction. He basically took control of the Sith, which we've talked about, I think, in one of the first streams that I had. Sith didn't really want to be a part of this thing that he was doing. He was getting too ambitious. Basically, their main leader had just died. He was the first person to grab power. Ends up using the Explorer's ship to travel all the way back to the Republic, and then invades Coruscant and the Republic right there. And then, the Republic and the Jedi are there, and they're like, nah, buddy, sorry. And they basically beat the shit out of him, and then stalk him all the way back to where Korriban is, and they just decimate everybody that's left there. Everybody's infighting. They're not just fighting the Republic that's trying to invade and destroy the Sith species. They're also fighting amongst themselves for power, because that's what the Sith have done. That's literally like what their entire hierarchy and culture has done for years and years and years. Literally since the existence of their species, which was 100,000 years before the Battle of Yavin. So it's a long time. So Sith that claimed this mantle of Dark Lord of the Sith literally created this logo, this signet. And as you can see, it's not just anything. It's almost very similar to the Majin symbol from Dragon Ball Z. Oh, no way. Yeah, it really is. So it has been done. Thank you, fam. Appreciate it. Yes. So I'm going to get on that like right after the stream. And after going through some form of seance, right, or some form of ritual, you basically put this on your forehead. That's what they start. They start putting this stuff on you, and then that's what makes the forehead sign. And so Naga Sadow did this as well. ahch-to has done this. So it's something that I feel like has got lost in Star Wars lore, because I've only ever seen it in Tales of the Jedi comics. I haven't seen it really anywhere else. So when you look up characters that are not from these stories, they're losing a lot of like that traditional Sith species influence. So if someone comes into my room and let's say it's like that one movie or that one show where they raid the storage crates, and they bring it to the pawn shop guy, and he's like, okay, well, you're claiming to be a Sith Lord. I got an expert. So you call me. I'm the expert, right? About the Sith Lord stuff. And then he says, hey, this guy says that he's a descendant of the Sith species and he's a Dark Lord of the Sith. And then if he doesn't have a mark like this on his forehead, then he's not a Dark Lord of the Sith. From the Sith species, anyway. Okay? So there you go. That's that Lord Dagovere 101. Yeah, man, it's so good, dude, man. It's so fun. Okay, so we have like 20 plus minutes left. All right, so let's talk about the Sith'Ari. So Pat, you said you didn't know about the Sith'Ari. And the Sith'Ari is a really interesting thing for guys that don't know. So you have the title of Darth, right? You have the title of Darth. But Darth, while it being the highest rank that a Sith could have, Sith'Ari is pretty much the chosen one prophecy for the Sith. And it's really interesting because it's also a prophecy that has existed way before the Chosen One prophecy was even conceived, was even an idea, was even a thing. I would also debate that the Sith'Ari was closer to around the dawn of time in the timeline of Star Wars, because we always talk about Korriban and the Sith species being spotted, appearing on Korriban. That's about 100,000 years before the Battle of Yavin. It's one of the first marks in the timeline of the Star Wars EU. Then at 28 or 30,000 years, that's when Korriban gets invaded by the Rakatan species. At that time, they have a king. The king ultimately, he wins a battle against the Rakatan, and the Rakatans are kind of like the undefeated juggernaut New England Patriots of Star Wars. They're just taking over planets, slaving people, and then this guy beats them and shows that, hey, if it bleeds, you can kill it. They can be defeated. And so in that moment, he is prophesized as like the almighty Sith god, the Sith'Ari. Right? And now, when this guy eventually dies, because everybody dies in Star Wars, all the people that praised him said, like, oh, this guy's going to come back, and he's going to kill all the Sith, but also, in doing so, in killing us, he's going to make us even stronger than before. That's literally the prophecy. Literally. Give me the name of an Old Republic comic, please. Okay, so try Tales of the Jedi. And if you want more, just try Tales of the Jedi, and then if they come up, let me know which ones come up. There's probably about like 8 of that series, and then I'll go from there. Hello there says, didn't they also give them tattoos like Maul and Talon? Yes and no. Yes. So that was more of the doctrine that Plagueis and Sidious did. Sidious specifically did it with his boy Darth Maul, especially with the doctrine, because that was very important with the Sith tattoos. This is of his thing, and I guess you could say that the forehead thing is supposed to be a tattoo, but like they're literally using insects or some type of, Naga Sadow is literally given like a box. You see 7? Okay, great, awesome. So it should be like Tales of the Jedi, Golden Age of the Sith, Fall of the Sith Empire, what's it? The Rise of Freedom Nad, the Rise of Exar Kun, the Dark Lords. There's a bunch of them. And then like it should be like the Redemption of Eula Keldruma or something like that. There's a bunch of them. There's like 7 or 8. And so I'll read the entire Sith'Ari thing for you, so you guys can understand. Okay, so here we go. So this is from the Book of the Sith. So you're getting like the podcast example. Okay, this is on page 48 in the Book of the Sith. Here we go. So we're gonna decree here with the prophecy of the Sith'Ari has been passed through verbal tradition. It is too sacred to be inscribed on the scrolls of parchment from the Kasai. I have learned its essence, and he literally puts it on a damn freaking book when he literally says it's too sacred to put on ancient text, and he does it himself. What a shill. All right, so he says, the Sith'Ari will be free of limits. The Sith'Ari will lead the Sith and destroy them. The Sith'Ari will raise the Sith from the death and make them stronger than before. So that is the prophecy for the Sith'Ari. Now, what is really interesting, as I put all these things away, so you guys know how much of a nerd I am with these source books and encyclopedias, and I always talk about the complete guide, the complete Star Wars encyclopedia, which George Lucas loves encyclopedias. If you look at all these interview videos when he's behind the scenes making things for the Clone Wars and the prequels, he has so many encyclopedias, he has so many art books, everything from character stuff. He has it all. Like, that's his stuff. That's his bread and butter to keep things consistent in the expanded universe. And so also, if he makes an idea and then he finds out that there's something in the expanded universe, he usually tweaks that, right? So everything that you listen there is, all right, let's go. Nice. Okay, cool. Oh, and can you also, Bugsy, can you also see if they have Legacy of Vader, Reign of Kylo Ren? Can you see that? Legacy of Vader, Reign of Kylo Ren. That was the other one. Okay, so now Skywalker and hello there, I think. Yeah, hello there. Is that your girl? That's your girl right there. Darth Talon? Yeah. So those are the that's the stuff. So here now, what I love about these is like you guys know how much I love finding these things in the encyclopedias where the lore is. So this is the reason why it's so important to me. Is like when you read a comic or a book or play a video game, that to me is often considered soft canon. It's there, it's in the expanded universe, but for me, where it's listed in the encyclopedia is everything. Legacy of Vader, The Rise of Kylo Ren. The Rise of Kylo Ren was the comic before Rise of Skywalker. So that's an older one. I'm looking for the newer one. If it's not there, no biggie. I'm just gonna have to buy that off of Amazon, which is fine because I literally bought them in real life. I'm just trying to see if it has like all the comics so we can read together. So here's the definition from that book. The Sith'Ari. This was the name used by the ancient Sith to describe a perfect being who would rise to power and bring balance to the Force. According to the prophecy, the Sith'Ari would rise up and destroy the Sith, but in the process would return to lead the Sith and make them stronger than before. The first being known to have carried the title was the ancient king of ahch-to, who unified the Sith tribes of Korriban some 3,000 years before the formation of the Republic. That's the one that we were talking about before. Reign of Kylo Ren. Yes, that is the one. After ahch-to's death, at the hands of the Rakatan invaders, many pretenders claimed to hold the Sith title of Sith'Ari, but none of them was able to restore the Sith to power until the discovery of a man named Desil. Desil was trained on Korriban during the years leading up to the Battle of Ruusan. He eventually became Darth Bane, the man who reinvented the Sith and established the Rule of Two. So, the encyclopedia, in my opinion, is like the word of the Lord, outside of George Lucas, because George Lucas is ultimately the one talking about how important these encyclopedias are. The Grey Jedi is also in here too, because we also talk about that for my podcast. The last podcast that I did was also about the Rule of Two and the Sith'Ari, and I really feel like there's only two characters in Star Wars that are the definition of the Sith'Ari. It's Darth Bane and it's Darth Sidious. Both of these characters annihilate other Sith. Both of these characters also helped and influenced in some way to bring the Sith up to a brand new ascension of power. The Rule of Two literally created Darth Sidious from all these apprentices. From Bane to Xana to Cognis to Millennial, and so all the way down to Tenebris and Plagueis, and then of course Darth Sidious. Now, a lot of people always talk about like, oh, well, Darth Sidious did this, and Darth Plagueis did this, Revan did this, Vitiate did this, Yeah, sure. But to the definition itself, Darth Bane is the only relevant Sith, in my opinion, that is the one that is talked about. And even through all of this, Darth Sidious isn't mentioned, and although I pretty much do think he is the Sith'Ari, Bane is the one that's listed in the text here. And so that's why I've changed my mind so much when reading these things, and that's just because like when I'm reading something and I have my own mind made up, and usually I'm pretty okay with like figuring out, I'm just like, hey, it's probably this. But when I see it in like text with that official Lucasfilm stamp, it changes everything completely. Every time. I was that way about the Grey Jedi. I was completely against the Grey Jedi. Then I saw it in this book, and then I saw it in the other books, and their definition for the Grey Jedi, and I was like, oh shit, this thing is a real thing. Okay. It's not like what everybody else is saying, because everyone else, is misinterpreting stuff, and they misconstrue ideas to make their own idea and their own agenda, but this word exists, and there is a definition for it. Same thing with the Sith'Ari. Darth Bane is mentioned. In my opinion, Darth Bane and Darth Sidious are the only Sith'Ari that you should be talking about. That's how I feel. Yeah, man. Agal says, any underrated books in the timeline, please? Any underrated books. Okay, so do you want Legends? Legends or new canon? So I'll try to give you both right now. So, man, it's so hard because like that's such a hard Underrated, underrated, underrated. Okay, so underrated, then I will give you two of my favorite that a lot of people don't talk about. And this is really hard to find. It's the Jedi vs. Sith Essential Guide to the Essential Guide to the Force. It's a source book, and it's basically like your textbook for everything that has happened from 1980, from 2005 or 6, I would say. That's literally some of the most relevant stuff until you get to like some of the later books of the Bane series and a couple other things. The New Jedi Order stuff isn't really in there too much, especially with the closer stuff with Abeloth and Crate, because, you know, that's towards the end of Legends continuity timeline anyway, with the selling of Star Wars. But that book is amazing. The next one I really like, and it's one of the most underrated books. In my opinion, it is the most underrated Star Wars book, and that is the Essential Atlas. The Essential Atlas will make you understand everything that you need to know about the entire lore of Star Wars in space, from planets, the regions, everything, like from hyperspace ways, like literally like the Hydian Way, which is like the interstate of Star Wars, that it literally goes through like half of the civilized, if not all of the civilized part of space. So every time Han Solo jumps into hyperspace when you're watching the movies, you're going to know where he's going. You're going to know what planet he should be passing. Anything and everything. You're going to know what, like, if this is the Hutt era, what syndicate this is, you know, if this is the Rakat, like anything. Some of the stuff you probably don't understand what I'm saying, but this book will help you understand. And you're going to know more than anybody watching the movies. You know? It's crazy. It's so damn good. I'm trying to get into Legends, but I'm happy with either. Yeah, so that's all Legends stuff. Like, in my opinion, like, I don't know. Before I want to eat the main course meal, I want an appetizer. These are my appetizers. Like these books are my appetizers because they help me understand everything I need to know. It's like a study guide. And then when you start reading the actual books, because these books are going to make you understand like what you're going to want to read. You're going to read some of this stuff and you're going to be like, "Holy shit." This book is literally the reason why I read all the Tales of the Jedi comics. Because it's just like I wanted to start. I just wanted to start. And then I was like, okay, well, who the hell is this Odan guy? And what the hell, the Dawn of the Sith and this, and what do you mean the Sith are a race of people and not the dark-sided guys that we see in the movies? Oh shit, they came from a planet? Oh, they're like native people? Oh. So the Jedi fought these people and put them on this planet because they're assholes, and then they ended up having to be indoctrinated into this way of culture, and the Jedi created their own enemy? What the flip? It's stuff like that. It's stuff like that. And then if you want to get really crazy and wild, the Star Wars Essential Guide to Warfare is also really good, and that just shows you through the battles of like all the movies, all like super relevant battles throughout Legends continuity. So it's not gonna like tell you the exact story, but it's gonna be a great summarization of like all these events, and from there you're gonna get interested, and you could probably figure out like what book you're gonna want to read. And that's how I do it. You know, it's really fun. It's so good, and it's literally like opening up a secret knowledge vest. But I can also give you a book too. I think the Bane book is amazing. I think like if you love dark side stuff and you just want to see I would literally say like if you want to see like Anakin Skywalker and Luke Skywalker mixed into a darksider that literally just is tragic and has to go and become something dark because of that, I would say read the Darth Bane trilogy. Darth Bane trilogy is so good. There's other books too. Oh my gosh, Outbound Flight. Outbound Flight is a great Legends book. I remember I have that book. That book is so good. It takes place like around the prequel trilogy era. It's so good. I'll tell you, Interstellar with pirates and Thrawn So damn good. It's Star Wars. It's so amazing. Believe it or not, I wanted to know how hyperspace works. So this is... Oh, there you go. Yes. That's... Yes. So, okay. So if you really want to know how hyperspace works, then yeah, I would definitely read those. And then Tales of the Jedi. Literally, like, the first Tales of the Jedi comics. Now, okay. Let me see. Hang on one second. So there's a... man, I'm so glad that you found me, because there's a certain way people read Tales of the Jedi comics, and it's wrong. You have to read it the correct way. So, Tales of the Jedi, correct of reading. One second. I'm going to find this for you, and then I'm going to show it up here. Because there's the wrong way to read it. Okay, here it is. Okay. All right, so I'm going to put up the scene right now. Can you see this? Can you guys see this? So, these... Yes. All right, so these are really important. But is that actually... Tales of the Jedi... I don't... So, it says Knights of the Republic. Tales of the Jedi, Knights of the Republic. But you have to do Golden Age of the Sith. And then the Fall of the Sith Empire. Because they came out in different order. Man. I used to have it saved. Okay, here it is. Alright, please belay that order. Okay, here, this is the one. Alright. Right here. I'm going to put this in the chat. Okay. Oh, am I not allowed to put this in the chat? That's lame. Okay. So, but this is it. So this is literally what you have to read, okay, for the Tales of the Jedi. I'll probably, if we can go again and we can read this again, I might start doing that. The Golden Age of the Sith literally starts you out off, like, right there. It's not the first event that's ever happened in Star Wars, but it's a great place to start to give you a good understanding of all the characters. Because eventually, this story is what leads into one of the most popular stories of all time in the expanded universe, which is Knights of the Old Republic. And Knights of the Old Republic has Revan and Traya and Zion and Bastila and all these amazing characters that you probably hear about all the time. Some of them are sitting right here in Funko Pop form right behind me. And you need to know these things before everything else. And even if you want to read stuff like in the current timeline of like Clone Wars and the original trilogy and after that, with like Luke Skywalker, these comics, in my opinion, are so very important to all that. I think it's a great starting point. Absolutely. Yeah. So I was at Walmart, time to redo it. Yes. So, trust me, Skywalker fam. I have literally done the same thing. And that's why it's so important. Like, that's why I exist. So I can tell you guys not to F up like I F up. So, that's why I'm here, dude. Oh, man, that's why. Because, trust me, it's the experience when you read it this way is so much better. It is so much better, man. Pat Jackson says that we're talking about canon books and Revenge of the Sith novel. Oh my god, yes, and that's the other one. Yes, I have that here. Yes, the other one is too. It's all Legends Night, I guess. Yeah, Revenge of the Sith. It is so good. It is so good. Like, I don't know if you guys heard earlier, but I was talking about how, like, when I watch Star Wars and then I read Star Wars, you know, and then I read a comic or I play a video game, I usually have my mind made up on how the Force works or how certain characters are. But then if I listen to George Lucas or if I read something in a source book, like I just got done reading, or a book, and it tells me this is why this happens, and that's it, then it changes my mind. Revenge of the Sith novelization was one of those things that changed my view on Anakin Skywalker completely. I loved him. He's still my favorite character. But I used to always have the excuse about it was the Jedi's fault, or Anakin and Vader are two different people. All those things completely changed when I read this book. I think it's amazing. And it made me a lot wiser. Not saying that the Jedi didn't cause things. It's just you start to realize so much more when that book is there. Because that guy also talked to George to get notes to make that book. It's amazing. Darth Sidious says, Dan Wallace, author of the book Sith, of the Book of the Sith, and he thought it would be funny if every narrator thought they were the Sith'Ari. dude, that is so hilarious. I feel like it's not just every Sith in that book. It's also just like every Sith in general, which I think is so funny. But even with that said, the complete encyclopedia though is like literally mentions Bane as the Sith'Ari and King Adas, you know. But even still, I just feel like it's really only it's only Bane and Sidious. Those are the only two that could ever really be given that label, in my opinion. Vitiate doesn't make sense. Vitiate makes no sense, honestly. I just feel like a lot of people that want to give Vitiate that title is just because they think he's the most powerful Sith, and sure, yeah, whatever, okay. But even then, it's just like he's such a overpowered, silly character in general. And he does like kill other Sith, but he doesn't bring the Sith to a new level. Like, he brought himself to his own level, but he doesn't bring the Sith to any level, like, whatsoever. He just kills everybody. It's really weird. So I don't see how he's the Sith'Ari at all. But that's just me. Skywalker Academy says, yeah, Render the Sith novel is 10 out of 10. Yes, we do. Yeah, it's so good, man. It's so damn wrong. It's so freaking good. Yeah, man. Could Darth Krayt be considered a possible Sith'Ari? So he also did the Rule of One, right? It's also about, like, yes, because the Rule of One essentially is like him being the Darth, and then all the other talented Force sensitives are essentially doing his dark bidding. So that's, yes, that, like, he's doing the Rule of One thing. But does he bring the Sith to a new power? No, I don't think so. I think he's very powerful. I think he could beat Sidious. He's very strong, very durable. And the crazy thing is too, is like, even when he fights Cade Skywalker, I think he's also like dying, damaged. He's been damaged because of the Vong. So yeah, it's just really interesting stuff. I don't think he could be Sith'Ari though. I don't think so. I may have to read that comic again. And plus, I think also it's a really good book with, I think him and Luke Skywalker fight Abeloth. I think Darth Krayt literally punches Abeloth in the gut or something and makes Abeloth scream in pain, which is crazy. What the are you kidding me? This guy punched Abeloth in the gut and Abeloth screamed? Oh my god. Krayt's got the hands, bro. That guy is knocking out Sidious. That is crazy, dude. That's insane. Yes, yeah, I think, well, okay, so that's the thing too, is, yes, because he is the one that founded and established the Rule of Two, but he got all that knowledge from Revan. He got all that knowledge from Revan. Guys, please, go listen to my podcast. Please, guys, please. Go listen to my podcast today, from Sunday. Every single Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, bro, and I literally talk about all this stuff. I think you should listen to my podcast, because I literally talk about a lot of stuff we're talking about today. But I also want to, it's also with facts, like straight from the books, the page numbers, the chapters, the complete source. And then, I basically use whatever I have to make my own hypothesis or conclusion. And I want you guys to do that too. And then come back in the Discord. So join the Discord and we can talk about it then, because I think that'd be awesome. And I also just want your feedback so I can just make the podcast better. Darth Sidious says, when Krayt asked Bane and Netto for advice, they said, "You're not Sith. You're just a cosplayer." What the fuck? Oh man, dude, I have to read those comics again, because it's been a very long time. I don't remember that, but I know who's Luke talks to Cade, if I remember. And I know that the other Skywalker that's there is like supposed to be like one of the best Skywalkers since Luke, but he also dies in the comic, and he's supposed to be like built up to be this like really amazing person. But I didn't see it. I think he died by like 2 people or something. It didn't seem very spectacular. So I'm referring to a scene in Legacy 5. Okay, yeah. So I have to see. Did they really use the word cosplayer? Was that really a thing, Sidious? No way. That's crazy. I feel like that's so in... That's too... I'm not sure if I would even use that word in Star Wars if I was writing that. But anyway, guys. I gotta head off. I really appreciate you guys doing your stuff. It's been, like, super fun and everything. But I gotta get off. This will blow my mind if they said that in Star Wars. Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. That's kind of crazy. I don't remember that word being in Star Wars in that Star Wars comic, but I'm not sure. They don't usually use the word. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right, so it was just like your revision. Okay, I thought so. Okay, cool. But yeah. Hey guys, I really appreciate it today. Every single Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, anywhere you can listen to podcasts, the podcast is there. Every single day, every single weekday, there is a short at 9:15 in the morning, and then every Tuesday we do this stream. So please come back, guys. I really appreciate you guys. Seriously, like, it's been so damn fun. I appreciate you guys always coming out here, and dude, the community's getting bigger day by day, stream by stream. It's really fun. Join the Discord if you haven't. Please join the Discord if you have not. It's always fun to have new people here, and you guys are always so damn fun, man. I love sitting here and talking to you guys always about everything, about all these Star Wars things. And if you have any feedback whatsoever, whether it's the stream or just, you know, whatever, man, I just want to see you guys out here and just do your thing, man. I really appreciate you guys. All right, but you know where it is. Coming into the Dark Temple visited. Coming into the Dark Temple, visited by Mara Jade, Luke Skywalker, and Kyle Katarn, and so many of the Force sensitives like yourself. I'm Lord Dagovere, fam. I'll see you around. Deuces.